to another episode of Marvel at the Movies. I'm Doug. We have Kyle here. Kyle, how are you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm doing fine. Just getting through the week as always, you know.
Yeah, that's just what it is. You know, it's just Tuesday, so we have a little bit of the week left, but it's okay. It's all right. It's almost what they call hump day, and it's all good.
Hump day.
So yeah, exactly. But I'm really excited about our upcoming episode. We have a lot to talk about, and I just want to tell you that our episode is brought to you by Simon Organizing. So, Kyle, are you ever feeling overwhelmed with a room, cabinet, or drawer that needs to be organized? Contact Simon Organization. They work with you to create and organize a space that is serene and a joy to be in. Again, Simon Organizing, creating a stress-free home. That is our sponsor for this week, and of course, that's our sponsor for Marvel at the Movies. But I wanted to jump right in with telling you that I saw 3 more Marvel movies. I wanted to give you an idea of what I've seen, but I wanted to tell people, just because this is our second episode, I did want to tell people what Marvel in the Movies is all about a little bit. So Marvel in the Movies is we're going to talk about Marvel and the movies and the movies. I am just starting to get through all the phases of all the movies, so we're going to talk about them. Kyle's already seen most of them, if not all of them. And then that'll be our first segment, and then our second segment, we're actually going to talk about movies and TV and that kind of entertainment. So very much looking forward to having it out there. We are definitely out there right now and getting my daughter and her friends and a whole bunch of other people to start subscribing and hitting the bell. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I did see 3 more movies, and I'll just tell you what they are really quickly. I saw Black Panther, I saw Infinity War, and just recently Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to start talking about Black Panther first, if we could.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So when I saw this movie, Kyle, it was one of the best visual movies that I've seen so far. Mm-hmm. Some of the other movies have been, there's been a lot of fighting sequences and a lot of, really great action and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Visually, this was one of the best I've seen. And I think I texted you that I was watching it, and you had said that this movie is one of those that is not necessarily, it's not like it's not a fan favorite, mm-hmm. but it's underrated. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's a very underrated movie from what I'm hearing from different people that have watched Marvel movies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of people really liked it, actually. I thought it got a lot of, I feel like it's like one of the most watched ones, actually, or I could be wrong, but.
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. I've just heard that it's underrated as opposed to, Endgame and Infinity War and some of the other kind of biggies that are out there that have everybody kind of attached to, all the Avengers attached to the movie, as opposed to just seeing like one at a time and kind of getting their story. So do you think that's true? Or, do you think that's something that makes sense? Or
yeah, no, as far as I can tell, I think it's funny because it did come out, when you look at it did come out the same year as Infinity War, because they both came out in 2018 from what I remember. Right. And when it came out, it did like a lot of, it was the first, I think it was one of the first movies with like a full-blown like African-American cast and everything. And it really set trends, I think, in that regard. And there really wasn't any movie like it. The only movie I can think of that was pretty close to that was Blade. I remember that was actually one of the first, because even when Blade came out with Wesley Snipes, those movies, I love those movies. Especially the first two Blade movies are just wow.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny because a lot when those movies came out, not a lot of people I think realized those were actually Marvel movies technically. Blade is a comic book character, and they're actually rebooting him later on. But you know, needless to say, there weren't many movies with I feel like a black-led superhero, and it was really great that you know Black Panther really they just it was just wow, just like you're right, like it was a very like visually stunning movie. Chadwick Boseman was to me he's like Christopher Reeve level memorable as like Black Panther. Like I loved his role in the movie, and it was really unfortunate that you know he passed away you know so soon you know or so recently. I mean, I mean, that guy was only what? It was like early 40s. Like he was so young when he passed away. But yeah, you're right. Like it was a very underrated movie. I think, like especially after like Infinity War and Endgame came out, because you're right. A lot of people kind of remembered those, but I still feel like though, you know, to an extent, like I feel like Black Panther did have a huge impact in like superhero movies and honestly movies in general. It was actually nominated for I think best film when it came out for the Oscars.
So not underrated there. Not underrated there. I just heard, you know, and I've seen some other YouTubers say the same thing. And again, it's only opinion, and it's fine. That a lot of some of these guys think that the Black Panther, although a fabulous movie, was I guess underrated because of the fact that it didn't have it just didn't have, you know, all the Avengers in there. It didn't have all the people involved and stuff like that. But you're not going to have that when you're starting to develop the Black Panther story, which, by the way, blew me away. The Black Panther story, and visually, just like you said, was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we were like my wife and I and my daughter both also saw it, and we were my wife and I were both going, ooh. I mean, it's like we were watching fireworks or something. It was freaking great. I like the fact that you kind of go into that world like through a tree. And there's actually a funny scene later on where I think what I call the galaxy guys. Oh, that was the other one. Yeah, the Guardian guys in Infinity War decide that they're going to go in there, and he's like, well, we're either going to crash into a tree or we're going to get into the world here. We're going to go into that particular world. But other than that, I just thought that it was visually stunning.
Oh yeah,
the actors and actresses were fabulous. Angela Bassett plays his mom, and she has just been a terrific actress. I think she's got 40 years that she's done actress that she's been an actress. She had a great performance in this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Wakanda. Sorry, I was trying to think of the place. I just thought that the whole story, the story itself was really very interesting. And then you're trying to figure out, well, how are they going to incorporate, you know, he gets the king. By the way, I would like to develop this, and I don't know if we can develop this. I would like to go see my ancestors someday. So I don't need to be a king to go see them, but I just thought that was super cool. Like he had to go and see his father. Yeah. And then I didn't realize, because when you first see the movie, it takes place in like New York. That's when it first starts. And it's okay, maybe this is the backstory. Because I didn't get it. I didn't get it at first. I was like, okay, I thought this was going to be African. I thought this doesn't make any sense. Why are they starting in like a gang neighborhood? I don't understand this. Yeah. So, and then you try to figure out what that is. And then by the end, you figure it out, which makes sense. But it was
really great.
Yeah, I mean, just. But I like the fact that he was able to go. And of course, the other ancestors. The only thing that was necessary was to talk to his father. I like the fact that they have these stones. Are they purple or blue? Purple. That heals. I think I love that too, and it makes sense because the whole Avengers series is all about these stones that you put in and you become something. I mean, yeah. Iron Man does the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Iron Man has that right in his chest. So it's one of those things where it's so many different kinds of things that kind of relate. But if you didn't see this movie, by the way, I thought his sister was hilarious.
Great. Shuri?
Yeah, she was absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Very intelligent too. So you always want a sister that's smarter than you, but it's always it was really like my sister, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just thought the whole graphic kind of situation was fabulous. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you a question, and this is a question that kind of came up in my mind as I was watching it.
Okay.
When you see him, they bury him in the dirt so he can go see his ancestors, and then he becomes king. When he goes to see his ancestors, he goes and sees his father. When you see his father there, it seems like his father has lost an eye. And I'm not sure if he did or not, but it looks like it's the same eye as Thor.
Oh, interesting.
Remember when Thor lost it too?
Yeah.
Remember? Before he, of course, I don't want to I don't want to say too much, but again, this is Marvel at the movie, so I guess we got to talk about it.
I mean, there's spoilers abound, so yeah.
yeah, we've already spoiled half of the movie anyway. So, yeah. I just wanted to see if this was significant or was it just a shadow and I was just not paying attention. I know what happened to his father.
Yeah.
I know what happened. I get it. It happened in a different movie. I think it was Civil War. He got killed. Right? So, but it looks like he does not have an eye, and one eye is missing. I just wanted to see if that was significant, and I'm not even sure if it has anything to do with it.
So, actually, here's the thing about that.
And if you don't know, that's okay too. I just thought it was kind of a weird thing.
No. Actually, so this is what I heard. I don't know if I'm correct about this, but I don't think actually.
Is this Scuttlebutt? Because I like Scuttlebutt.
Is what?
Is this Scuttlebutt? Is this like, oh my god, this is what I heard? I like this. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm
on the edge of my seat.
So yeah, here's the thing about that. I was talking to my roommate about that because when we watched Black Panther, this is about a year or two ago, we rewatched it. Excuse me. I've already seen it a few times, and so basically, I think what happened was, so it has nothing to do with the actual story of Marvel. Okay. What I heard, he told me that I think he was telling me that he read somewhere that apparently the actor who played his father in real life, I think he may have had a seizure, and I think it kind of like distorted his eye a little bit. Really? That's what I heard. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll have to look more into that, but that's what I was told. I don't know if that's. I mean, like I said, yeah, take what I say with a grain of salt. But that's why, because when you look at his eye, it looks like he kind of a little bit has like a lazy eye almost.
Yes. I thought it was just totally missing, and I thought that was just because when you see his father the way he was when he passed away. So if you see that, then maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what they were trying to portray. But I thought there was a little bit more significant.
Yeah. But
they didn't mention it. I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't think they made like a huge thing about it in the movie. But I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure because you're right. You look at him in Civil War, because that came out like a couple years before Black Panther, and yeah, it looked like when he was like his eyes seemed okay, but I'm pretty sure. I think it had to do something with like a seizure that the actor suffered between like Civil War and Black Panther. And I think while they were filming Black Panther, I think you could like see is like he had the kind of like a little bit of lazy eye. So that's what I think happened. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, but
all right. So you heard something about that. So you know what I'm going to do, Kyle?
okay.
I'm going to throw it out there to the people that watch us. And this is one of the questions we're going to ask tonight. We like to do that, and we'll probably put it into the comments also. So if you watch us, please comment if you heard anything, or you know that if it's significant or not. And I'll say the question again. It seems like Black Panther's father, when he goes to see him before he becomes king, it seems to me that Black Panther's father has something wrong with his eye, whether it's gone or not. I wanted to know whether the Marvel fans think that this is a significant thing, or whether it's just part of the movie and it was just something that happened, and there's nothing wrong with it. So if you could tell us in the comments what you think about that, even if you've heard some stuff out there, you've read something over here, you've read something over, we don't care what it is. We just want your opinion of what you think that it may be. So that's definitely our first question of the evening. Do we have any vibrating trees that we can salvage? Because I would like to find this vibranium stuff, because it's this metal that you can't break it. It's very interesting how they brought this kind of into the mix. Toughest metal out there. So. Thought that there was pretty cool. I mean, does Iron Man have that in his suit?
No, I don't think his suit is that strong. I think literally it's Captain America. That's why Thor's hammer, when it hit Captain America in the first movie, like it just created like a shockwave, because it was like, okay, stalemate,
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. So I just wanted to make sure about that too. So that's what I thought about. I just thought it was a spectacular movie. I thought the actors and actresses were fabulous. I thought they told the story really super well. And you needed to have that story to start the next movie I saw, which was Infinity War. You need to have that story, because Infinity War, they go back to Wakanda. So you need to have that, because you'd be totally lost. You'd be like, why are they going into that tree, and it's going into it? Well, wait a minute. What's this new world that they're going into? You would never know. So that's why you have to watch the Black Panther before you watch the movie. It's really, really important, because you'd be a little bit, you could follow it, but you'd be like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? So, so Infinity War, I wanted to ask you just right up front, before I talk about any details of it, what did you think of Infinity War when you saw it?
I loved it. To me, it was like, it was like watching The Empire Strikes Back for the first time. That's how that's
perfect.
How I looked at it. Like,
yeah, that's perfect. That's a perfect analysis right there. That's perfect.
Because when you watch Empire Strikes Back, and obviously, okay, you guys all know about spoilers. You guys Empire Strikes Back has been out since 1980, so I'm sure most of you guys have seen
Kyle, if they haven't seen it by now, there's a real problem.
Yeah, you guys
got a real problem if people haven't seen that movie yet.
Yeah, but it's one of those movies where, the first Star Wars movie ends on such a high note. The story pretty much like ends, closes off, and there's a couple like loose threads there. Our Darth Vader's flying out, but for the most part, they get medals. It's like the classic movie ending where the good guys win. Empire Strikes Back throws that out the window. They're like, no, we're actually going to have literally, we're going to go by the title, The Empire Strikes Back, and boy, did they strike back. Like literally.
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader got his ultimate revenge in that movie. He cut Luke's hand off. Han Solo got frozen in carbonite. Leia's you find out that Leia's force sensitive. Just all this stuff happens, and the movie just kind of ends. And it does a great job closing what happened, but at the same time, it was also a huge cliffhanger. And you're like, okay, Luke got completely beat up. now Darth Vader won that fight, and you're not used to seeing those kind of endings, and that's exactly what Infinity War did with Thanos. And what I loved about Infinity War, just like Black Panther 2, was honestly, I think Infinity War and Black Panther had my two favorite villains in the entire cinematic universe. Like, because I just thought the other movies, the villains, they were okay. Like, I like Loki. I liked his whole story in the movies, but all the other villains, I really thought they were I thought they were the weakest part of the whole franchise, because they just kind of showed up in one movie. Their whole thing was, oh, I'm just as powerful as the hero, and I will, but I'm evil, and kind of thing. And that kind of got boring for me. That got really stale very quickly.
Right.
And then when they brought Killmonger in, when they brought like Michael B. Jordan, like, wow, his character had so much depth in him. Like, it was just insane. Like, you understood why he was there. Like you said, like, like it had to do with the flashback and what happened. And you understand, you can sympathize with him, just like Thanos. Like, he's not just a guy who comes in and like, oh, I'm super powerful, I'm going to destroy the world. No, he actually had motives, and they did a good job of even showing some flashback scenes with him. And you find out Gamora, who he's like, that's literally his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, everything like happened you need to watch the movie twice. You really do. And I would suggest that people do that. I've only seen it once, loved it, but you need to watch it twice. And the reason you do is because if you blink, you will miss something.
Yeah.
And that's guaranteed. If you blink, you will absolutely miss something that happens. And you're right. No, keep going with your analysis. I think this is great.
Well, here's the other thing. I don't think I actually blinked once when I watched Infinity War. That's how mesmerizing that movie was. You just watch it, you're like,
yeah, you're mesmerized. You're like, well, wait a minute, did that just happen? That didn't just happen. No, there's no way that could have happened. There's no way. What? There's just so much going on. There's so much going on that you really have to concentrate, not just on the action and kind of like what's going on, what's happening, but you also have to. And then, of course, all of a sudden the Guardian guys come in. It's like, wait a minute, where did they come from, and why are they in this? And you know what was my favorite? Teen Groot.
Oh, Teen Groot.
Teen Groot was my favorite. He's there playing the video game. It's awesome. It's just the way they kind of snuck them in a little bit, was a lot of it actually. But as they stuck them in, and then people are starting to be introduced to other people. It's like, wait, what's going on? This is crazy. Yeah. It was almost, if you weren't paying attention, it's almost hard to keep up. If you were to leave the room and come back 5 minutes later, you would be totally lost. You would not know what's going on. You have to stay for the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you, Robert Downey Jr. had some really good lines in that movie. He was very funny in that movie. And of course, you have the not just the first look at Loki, but you have the official passing that goes on.
Yeah.
And of course, I have not seen it yet, but my daughter just finished it, and I'm pretty sure you did too. Is that they have the Loki TV series that is more like a prequel, and we'll talk about that later on down the road. But it's kind of a prequel. And I said to my daughter, I said, how can if Loki died, how can they put a series together is it a prequel? And I'm not sure if she understood what a prequel was. She does, but she's like, well, kinda. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? She's like, I'm not telling you anything. I'm like,
yeah, it's hard to, like, I want to say so badly, like I really want to tell you.
I know, I want to see it. I know it's not as long as these 2-hour adventure movies, not as long as the 2-hour movies that we've been seeing, but but I do want to see it really soon. But we have some other things we got to get to phase 4 as soon as we finish phase 4, which we're almost there. We're 3 movies away from phase 4. So, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 movies after that. So we are literally 7 movies away from me watching Loki. But
okay,
yeah. So yeah, we see that.
Yep.
And I love how, and you can tell me this right or wrong here, Kyle. I thought it was awesome in the way they incorporated all the Avengers and what was going on.
No, you're right. That movie has one of the best balancing acts I have ever seen. Maybe even the best balancing act, to be honest. Because I heard there were like 75 A-list actors in this movie. I'm thinking, okay, how are they going to do this? How are they going to pull it off? And
I know. I was trying to figure that out too. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a star. That's a star. Wait a minute, that's Iron Man. Wait, there's Thor.
Yeah,
it's the Guardian guys. What are we doing?
It's a lot. And what I loved about this movie and Endgame too was that they were able to do that. They were able to give every one of those 75 plus actors their moments. Every actor had a moment in the movie that really, like even Spider-Man, just all these. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. I really didn't think this could be pulled off, but they did it. Those directors, the Russo brothers. That's why they're my 2 favorite directors when it comes to the MCU, because they also did Captain America: Civil War. They did Winter Soldier. They know how. I feel like they really know how to nail like a really good, just a really solid Marvel movie, and they know how to pull the stops. They're not limited by like what by some of the other restrictions I feel like some of the other movies had in certain ways. They were like, okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna put a good villain in there. We're gonna try stuff that other movies haven't done before, and I really appreciate that. And I agree. They pulled it off. It was great.
Yeah, they certainly did. Not only did they pull it off, but it must have been difficult to try to incorporate everyone.
Yeah.
And not just that they did a great job in incorporating everyone, but it's like watching like 5 different movies, because all of a sudden you see Thor in one scene, and all of a sudden now you're seeing Iron Man, and all of a sudden in the next scene the Guardian guys are just riding through the universe, and it's like, wait a minute, how can they do this? This is just, it's just brilliant the way they kind of put it together, almost 5 movies into one movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then you got Drax. This guy's funny as hell. I'm sorry, but this guy.
Oh, Dave Bautista, yeah, he's great.
This guy is hilarious. I like the fact that they did incorporate at least one older star. William Hurt plays the secretary, and I guess he has actually been in several of the Avenger movies, but he was also in this one too. William Hurt fame. The
Hulk movie. That was his big start there.
Yes. You got it. But he was in some older movies too before the Avengers, if that's possible. Broadcast News. He was in Broadcast News. He was in Children of Lesser God with Marlene Matlin. These are, I think, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s movies, mostly. But yeah, to incorporate, again, another kind of older star. I can't say older star, more of a patriarch star, kind of like that. It was just phenomenal how they, put him in too.
Yeah.
I found that there was a huge joke in there that I guess my daughter loves too. It says something like, I seriously don't understand how you could fit your head in that helmet. I'll tell you, we actually had to pause because after I was laughing so hard I was on the ground when I heard that. We actually had to pause the movie for 2 seconds while I composed myself, was just a really, really funny line. It was a great line.
Yeah.
It was just a very funny joke. And now, and then the end. The end.
Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly. Empire Strikes Back. It's like, oh, wait, don't do. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So my daughter got my reaction to the end, and I think Kyle, you saw it. So
yeah,
maybe we could get Kyle to put it at the end or during the episode somewhere.
Oh yeah,
just my reaction to, and we'll tell you that it's going to be at the end of the episode. And if he can't put it in, that's okay too. But I'm hoping that he can throw it in there. But just my reaction to the end of this particular movie was like, whoa, what did you? I mean, you just said it. Empire Strikes Back. It's exactly what it was.
Yeah, talk about cliffhanger. It was unbelievable. Like when you see Thanos just like do his snap, and you think that Thor has defeated him. It's like, okay, I'm gonna throw the big giant axe whatever thing into you, or hammer or whatever. And you're like, okay, Thor won the day. It's okay, he defeated. And then Thanos like, you should have gone for the head. Bam. And then you're like, oh wait, like Thanos literally just won, and you saw all these heroes just like evaporate into like the or what do we call that? Just disintegrate in the friggin' air. You're like, oh. And then of course the worst for me, and I think the worst for a lot of people was, and this even became a famous line over time, was when Tony Stark watched Spider-Man die, when he goes, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, and he's like lying on the ground, and you feel so bad for Tony Stark, because I feel like Spider-Man was kind of like his son. He was like a father to him. And
yes.
When you lose,
finally said he was an Avenger. You're an Avenger kid.
Yeah.
Finally gave him the due, because he was like, well, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Didn't want the kid to get hurt, but knew that he was an asset. So it does make sense, but he finally gave him his due and said, you're an Avenger. And as soon as he said that, it was, and then you see the end, it's like, oh no. That was just crazy. So watch for the end of this episode, because I want to see if let's see if Kyle puts it in or doesn't put it in. I think he's gonna. My reaction to Doug's reaction.
Credits there. So.
Yes. Yeah. Doug's reaction. Watch out for my crazy hair too. You got to see my hair, because my hair was really crazy. I was just wearing a hat, and my hat fell on the ground. I went like this. I slammed it on the ground. I was like, so watch for my crazy hair, because it's really cool. The end of Infinity War, Doug's reaction to the end, unbelievable. You got to see it. Wait till the end of this episode. You'll be able to see it. But the last movie I want to talk about before we move on to the next segment is Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we can talk about that really quickly. I only have about a half a page notes here.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I thought it was really funny and good. It kind of took us away. It took me away from that like crazy ending at the end. All of a sudden, you get into this la 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 story. It's like this kind of lighthearted at the beginning to oh my God, what the hell's happening? And we continue from just the Ant-Man story.
Yeah.
Right. So the first one. So we have Michael Douglas in this. Oh, awesome. Watch him on the Kaminsky Method on Netflix. Awesome. He plays an old actor that's teaching other people how to act. It's very funny. It's very good. They have a new episode, a new season. I haven't watched it yet, but watch it. It's really good. Watch the first, I think, 2 seasons. I watch it. It's really, really good. He's fantastic.
I agree. I agree. Like I loved him in the movie also. I hadn't seen it for a while, but he was in this classic movie called The Game, which came on like the late 80s, and it had Sean Penn, and Sean Penn played his brother. And it was just kind of like a series of like random things that was happening to Michael Douglas's character. And it's kind of like a mystery thriller. and then the movie has like you gotta see it. It's like it's David Fincher, so it's like the guy who did Fight Club and Seven. Like he's like really good director, very top quality when it comes to like to all that. But I know the ending has been a little controversial. Some people were fine with the ending. Other people didn't really like the ending as much because it kind of it was kind of a strange, like sort of twist ending, if you will, but it's still, from what I remember, it's still a really good movie. So yeah, definitely check that out too. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. Don't apologize. This is what we do at Marvel in the Movies. We want to have people have great experiences, even if it's a movie from the 90s or if it's a movie from a long time ago that we would recommend. We want people to go and see it, especially if you've seen Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp and you love Michael Douglas's character. You should see him. I have a list of a few other movies. Some of them I've seen. Some of them I think I've seen all of them, but I don't remember all of them. But he was fabulous, and he actually started on TV in the 70s with Carl Malden, The Streets of San Francisco. If anybody knows that, a lot of people won't know that, but he played the detective. A rookie detective came on to a very hard nose. Sorry, Carl. Carl has a very big nose. I didn't mean it that way. But it's hard nose detective, and it's like one of those crime dramas from the 70s, and that's what it is. But you should see that because he's super young. So it's like young in that. I thought it was it was a break from the craziness that we just had in the last movie. So it was a little bit of a break, but then it got really crazy in this too. Of course, this has Paul Rudd in it too. So, and he's just phenomenal. He is just great. He's very funny. By the way, if you don't know, he actually played Phoebe's boyfriend on Friends, and they actually got married. I don't know if you know this, but he did. He played Phoebe's boyfriend and her last boyfriend before they stopped the show. So he was in a lot of episodes. So it's very good. Very different character than what you get in Ant-Man. I thought you got to know his family a lot more in this movie versus the first one. I think you did a little bit in the first one, but not as much. I thought one of the scenes that was really funny is that when he was having trouble with his suit, and he kept hitting it, and all of a sudden he just got big, he just got huge, and then he's on this. he was trying to stop a truck, and he kept hitting the suit, thinking, okay, maybe I can. He's small, and it turned out he got gigantic. And it was just a very funny scene because he kept blaming the suit. He kept, oh man, darn it, why doesn't the suit work? And it's like, tell me what you think about this too. Is when I saw that, you expect a superhero, right?
Yeah,
superhero not to have issues. They're superheroes. They shouldn't have issues with their suit. They shouldn't have psychological issues. They shouldn't have anything. But look at the Hulk. David Banner has a lot of psychological issues. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, he had a problem kind of getting into being the Hulk, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
He was like, I need to be the Hulk. And then you see him turn green, and then all of a sudden he turns back again. It's like, oh, him. I do it. He's trying to get mad and everything. So what were your thoughts on superheroes having all these almost being human?
Oh, I love it. I think it's actually fantastic. I really appreciate when movies actually show a lot of the flaws and a lot of kind of like the side of superheroes that you don't normally see in a lot of like even comic books and even like older superhero movies that I feel like maybe they were afraid to show. I mean,
they're like vulnerable, right, Kyle? They're vulnerable. They're actually human.
Yeah.
But when they put their suits on, they become super. But they still have issues. I just think it's phenomenal how they put this in it.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, they made, and maybe we can like make a whole separate episode of this, but I think that's a really cool thing to talk about, because they've actually recently made a lot of shows based on that kind of like angle of superheroes. They had this show recently called Invincible. That it's a hard art show. It's very violent. It's very dark, but it really shows, like, even in the suit, the hero, like how flawed the heroes are in that whole universe. And they do the same with The Boys. Like, have you ever heard about that show, The Boys?
I think so.
Like, so
I'm not quite sure. Why don't you tell us about it?
So it's about these superheroes that are the whole point of that show is, like, the superheroes in that show, they're kind of like Justice League knockoffs, if you will. Like, you have Homelander, who's kind of like Superman meets Captain America. He's got the black for a cape. It's really yeah. And you have Black Noir.
Like a little different.
Oh yeah, so different. Like, you have this guy Black Noir, who's kind of like a Batman type. Like, he's like a ninja Batman almost. And you have, her name is Queen Maeve. She's like Wonder Woman. Like, you look at her suit and you're like, yeah, that's like Wonder Woman. It's kind of like a Justice League sort of knockoff, but all the heroes are complete jerks. Like, you just like, you hate them. Like, they're part of a company that's just like, they're really bad. Like they're all just complete assholes. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. They get drunk and they get high on drugs. Like, it's just this whole, you're like, whoa, okay, this is pretty dark. This is pretty like crazy. Like,
that's great. Now, does it kind of parallel to like Deadpool?
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
It's got that same kind of feeling, the Deadpool feeling.
Kind of, yeah. It's very satirical in a lot of ways, like Deadpool is.
I love that. I not just love his character, but you actually sent me something a few days ago, and it was freaking hilarious. I showed my wife; she thought it was great. It was absolutely hilarious, and he's knocking on his new movie. Which, by the way, he forgets when it was coming out. He forgets it's coming out in August, and he forgets. But he's knocking on it, and then he's talking to Stone Guy.
Yeah, the Korg from
Korg. He's talking to Korg, and Korg and him are basically just talking, but they're also watching like the trailer of his movie.
Oh, that's great.
It says. He talks about, you have to see this. You have to see it. Maybe we'll put let's try to put the link in the comments below the comments and something like that. I'll put the link in because I was literally laughing out loud. I mean, I had to watch it like 4 times because I missed half of it because I was laughing so much.
Yeah, there was so many. It was like joke after joke. It was
joke after joke, but he was busting on himself. He's like. Hey, Deadpool here. It was like he was doing a movie review, right? Like Siskel and Ebert, doing the movie review.
It was like one of those like trailer react videos.
He was like, he was also busted because of the fact that Disney now owns the rights to all of it now, right? Deadpool, and so he was like, well, I wonder if Deadpool could become part of the Avengers. Yeah. And he's like, so how do I do that? And you have to see Korg's answer because it's hilarious. It was so funny, Kyle. It was, and you sent it to me at a perfect timing too, because I really needed kind of, not that I was bad, but I woke up to that, and it was just like, it made my whole day. I was like, this is awesome. And again, I had to watch it like 4 or 5 times. So watch it a few times because you might laugh so much you won't get it the first time. Yeah. It is absolutely hilarious. It's so funny. It was phenomenal. But again, with having these almost vulnerable superheroes, it's just phenomenal how the directors and the producers were able to kind of put this all together and be able to make this. To make these movies and make them in some kind of almost like not a chronological order, but in phases where you get one movie, but you have to see this one because if you don't see this one, you won't get the other one, we'll get the next one.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those really, just somebody sat down and thought about this for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's phenomenal the way they put this whole thing together. I am like a Marvel super fan right now. I just think it's I look forward to the next movie. And my next movie that I'm going to see is it's going to be Captain Marvel is my next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is my next one. I'm hoping to watch it sometime really soon because my daughter won't let like my wife and I watch it without her. So, you know, and my daughter's almost 18 years old, so it's not like she's like a little 7-year-old kid. She's just like, you can't watch these without me, because she wants to watch them again because she loves them too. And then it's the Avengers Endgame, which I hear is a lot like Civil War, but it's like 1,000 times like crazier.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I'm hearing. So I haven't seen that. And then it's Spider-Man Far From Home, and then we're in Phase 4. So Phase 4 has 4 movies.
You've done all the movies after that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've done all the movies. Yes. Phase 4 is WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and Black Widow. So yeah.
Oh, Black Widow, of course. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
One movie. Yeah, one movie out of that Phase 4.
Yeah.
How about Falcon? Falcon's a movie too, right?
Falcon?
Falcon.
Oh, and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No, that's a series.
Oh, it's a series. Oh,
yeah,
okay. That's a series too. Okay, that's fine. See, the reason that I wanted to put together the show with you is because we have a likeness. I love the Marvel series. I love the Marvel movies. Again, I started with, you know, the superheroes I grew up. And it's funny how you mentioned before that you think the performance was at the Christopher Reeve. I think you said the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Black Panther you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
I'd like to expand upon that a little bit because we're going into our segment where we talk about movies. And I wanted to kind of touch upon here. You had said some of the best movies, the ones that you kind of grew up with and the ones that you loved the best was the Superman movies.
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of get, and I loved them too. I thought they were great. And I thought that, and again, Superman was a TV show.
Yeah, the George. Well, there was a few different. There was a Kirk Allen in the 30s, I think. It was like 30s or 40s.
Way before my time, but yeah,
series.
I'm not that old, dude, but yeah, I get, yeah.
And then it was George Reeves afterwards. George Reeves had the longest, I think, series for a while at least. Yeah. Yes,
that lasted a very long time, and then it was basically just to get the movies.
Yeah.
And then the movies came out in the 80s. Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on? And I know you have, and we've talked about this before. I know that you have almost a endearing love for these particular movies. But I wanted to get your idea, your thoughts on, you know, kind of what you thought about kind of these beginning movies and how they kind of started the whole process of getting to where we are now, and just your opinion and what you think. And I guarantee you they looked at these other movies too. They had to have looked at some of these movies. So it's one of those things where, you know, I just wanted to get your opinion on what you thought of that Superman set of series of movies, and how you think it kind of correlates to the ones that we're seeing today.
Oh, I mean, I think it's the start. It's the fuse. It's literally the fuse to this whole like superhero movie match, you know, or whatever. Yeah, it like if it weren't for Superman the movie, I don't think we'd be getting the movies we're getting now. To be honest, that's how influential I think it is. There's actually a funny thing I saw, and just to preface it really quick, a funny thing I read that I had no idea until like literally about a year or two ago. apparently Kevin Feige is also a huge fan of those movies, and he watches especially the first movie right before he makes a new Marvel movie.
Oh, really? I never knew that. That's awesome. There's your trivia, people, right there. I mean, this is why we bring the show into because you may learn something, you may not, you may learn something. So yeah, we bring some of that to the point too, to the show also. But that's great. I never knew that. So that's fabulous.
Exactly. I found that out recently, and I think it really says a lot to like what they're doing now. It's great because I think the Superman movies, in my opinion, I think especially the first Superman movie, to me has always been my favorite movie of all time, and pretty much always will be. I gotta say, as much as I love the Marvel movies, as much as all the other superhero movies are coming out, for me, nothing can compare to the first Superman movie. The first time I watched it when I was like 5 years old, because I had watched the cartoons, the Max Fleischer cartoons. I even seen the George Reeves shows before that. But
right. That was before your time and my time.
Yeah,
I saw them because they were on reruns, but I wasn't as interested. It's kind of black and white. It's kind of interesting how they put things together, but it wasn't like the movies in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just really it was just mind-blowing. It was just watching the way they did the special effects, like those special effects to me this was before CGI was a thing, and the whole tagline of the movie, I think we talked about it last episode, was "You will believe a man can fly." And that movie series, especially with the first one, they nailed the special effects. Like they were able to just, but at the same time, along with having really good special effects, they were able to tell a really good story. And in my opinion, this was the first time they really humanized a famous hero like Superman. Like you really saw his human side.
Right.
And I loved it. And especially when you watch Superman 1 and 2, going to the second one too, like when Superman finds out, one of my favorite moments of that movie, it's a very underrated moment. Not many people talk about it because people, they all think, oh, Henry Cavill, he's the modern Superman. I disagree. Christopher Reeve is the modern Superman to me. He still is.
Right. I know. That makes sense.
And people are like, yeah, those movies are cheesy. I'm like, no. Christopher Reeve actually dealt with very human issues in those movies that people completely overlook all the time. When General Zod, you remember Terrence Stamp? He plays the evil Kryptonian General Zod, and he brings his cronies down, and he's taken over planet Earth, right? He's just completely destroyed like a Midwestern city in the U.S. and he's gotten to the White House. He holds the president hostage, and it's just this crazy thing. Like they're trying to shoot him down, but he's bulletproof and everything. General Zod pretty much has won the day in that scene. And Superman realizes that he wants, he for the first half of the movie, he gives up his powers because he wants to be with Lois Lane. But he realizes he has these responsibilities as well. And when he realizes that he's let a lot of people die by giving up his powers, that was such an emotional scene. He gets beat up in the diner and he doesn't have any more powers. Like he realizes the impact of his decision. And the scene I love Christopher Reeve, the way he acted through, he was like, I have to go back to the Fortress of Solitude. I have to find a way to get my powers back to save these people. And Lois is like, that's impossible. What are you going to do? Like you lost your powers. That they said like, and he goes, I have to try something. I have to try anything. Like you could tell in his face, like in his expression, that he is so disappointed, and you can see the impact of his decision that he's made. To me, that's one of the most human things I have ever seen in a superhero movie, and it's really stayed with me to this day. And it's unbelievable. It's just mind blowing, like how deep they were able to get into this character, and I love it. So yeah, that's
exactly, yeah.
That's one of the big things I love about the Superman movies. They really humanize superheroes, and you going to your point too that you talked about with Ant-Man. So that's
right, exactly, yeah. And even in Ant-Man, you notice that he's humanized because he's got a daughter and he's playing with his daughter, and you see that one of the first scenes is when they're traveling down. He makes this big, huge cardboard slide out of all kinds of cardboard, and he's playing with her, and it makes it more human. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe what it does also, Kyle, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what it does is it brings you in. Mm-hmm. It brings you in as another human. If you're a dad like I am, you remember playing with your daughter like that. I remember setting up forts and all kinds of different things. And of course, I had a daughter. I've got one daughter. So it's like, okay, we had to play Barbie. So that's just the way it is. So, I had to, I just had to suck it up and just do that. But I think what it does is it humanizes these characters. They actually have problems. They actually have real world problems. They actually have families. They actually have relationship. I mean, you see the face when I think it's in Civil War when David Banner shows up.
Oh yeah.
They're getting their asses kicked, and it's time for Hulk to come, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for him to come.
Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity War, yeah, right. So I get mixed up with the movies. Yeah, exactly. So when you have David Banner come in, you see their faces, but isn't there a little bit of a love interest going on with David Banner and
Black Widow? Yeah.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Isn't there a little bit of something going on there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you get that.
Yeah.
And that's what humanizes it. So it makes it sense that you want to humanize this, is that you want to make these characters relatable. How can I relate to Iron Man? I'm not Iron Man. I'm not a superhero. Yeah. But you could relate to Robert Downey Jr.'s character because he has a ton of issues. He's got thousands of issues. I mean, he's a very rich guy, but he's got thousands of issues going on. Trying to figure out whether him and his assistant, they're going to ever hook up. Are they ever going to get married? Are they ever going to do whatever? Yeah. And again, I think that's where they try to humanize and make you be able to relate to the characters. Because I can't relate to Iron Man, although I love Iron Man. I can relate to getting pretty angry, but not turning into the Hulk. Yeah. Which I'm kind of glad. But it's almost like in this particular movie too, you also see David Banner struggling to become Hulk. Yeah. Struggling. He wants to do this so badly. He's gotta become Hulk, and he can't. And it's just like you said in Superman. It's like he gets beat up and he needs to go save the world, and he can't do it because he doesn't have his power. Yeah. The same with the Hulk. The same with David Banner. He can't get there. He has to force it. It just doesn't come like this. He's got to force. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, Thanos. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, people. It's okay. We're not going to disappear. I don't think. Wait. Oh no. But that's how I think that the writers and the directors and the producers are trying to humanize it for us, to make them not just likable, but more on a humanized level. I want to help. How do I help? Oh, well, you got to turn to the Hulk, man, because we need help doing this, man. You got to do this. Okay, no problem. And he just doesn't. He can't get there. So I think that's what they were trying to do. Yes, is 100%. Trying to make it human. And again, they've done it in a way where they used to do it a long time ago, making the Superman movies, because all these superheroes that we're talking about, they all have some kind of vulnerability. They all have some kind of issue that's going on. Thor and Loki. they need to see us like, well, not Loki anymore because Loki's passed, but I mean, you need to have some kind of, they need to have some kind of psychological help. I mean, they're just, I mean, the stuff that happens to Thor is just crazy. And again, that's how you humanize it. So I think that's really how they did it. And it's so amazing that they were able to learn from the old movies, kind of how to make the new ones and kind of how to humanize it, because I don't think we'd be able to relate to it.
Exactly.
I mean, do you think we'd be able to relate if they weren't humanized? I don't think we would be able to.
No, totally not. And like, because you never saw that in like a lot of older series, a lot of older comic books. But yeah, it wasn't until kind of like the late 70s they really were like especially like Richard Donner. That was the approach he wanted to do. He wanted to tell this like grand epic. Like he kind of like, you kind of can compare it in some ways, the first movie, to like a movie like Lawrence of Arabia in certain ways. Like it had like so many acts. It was a very just grand, like it starts off in space, and you see like how where Superman, like not just like just him flying around the suit, like you see like where he comes from, you see what Krypton was like, and it was the first time they really did a lot of world building in live action like that, and it was really cool. And like I totally agree. Like I think that's definitely the best way to some of the best ways to approach it.
Yeah, Thanos and his daughter.
Yeah.
Same kind of situation.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, you see, and you said it before, which was perfect, is that you said that you even see kind of what he was thinking about, his thoughts from the past, how she became his daughter, which wasn't really his daughter.
Yeah. More adopted.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
if you will.
And you see that he's struggling between the daughter that he brought up and the power that he wants. Yeah. And that struggle back and forth is just, and this is in everyday life, people have that struggle, that they do have struggles like that. They have struggles of what to do in this situation, and should I do this? And is this the right decision? And that kind of thing. So I think they, I think they did a phenomenal job with trying to make these characters at least human, because they are. Most of them, everybody is. But when they become superheroes, it's like da da da. It's like, let's fight, let's get them, and this kind of stuff. I mean, all those characters have some kind of issue that has happened, and that's why they have these separate ones. That's why they have the Black Panther one. That's why they have these separate ones to Ant-Man, to tell a story, to humanize them. So when you see them as an Avenger, you get that. Now I understand.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Hulk is having problems now. Well, we understand that because he was having problems before.
Yeah.
So it like totally makes sense.
Totally. It's so much more impactful, when you have that. It's just like, exactly.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm looking forward to seeing Captain Marvel. So this is the movies I'm seeing next. I know I've mentioned this before. We're going to mention it again. Seeing Captain Marvel, then we're seeing the Avengers Endgame, and then Spider-Man Far From Home. Those are the three that are going to finish up phase 3, and then we're on to phase 4. But very much looking forward to seeing those movies, especially Endgame, which I'm hearing is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Is what I'm hearing. It is definitely what I'm hearing. So yeah, that's. Do you have any end thoughts or anything like that, Kyle? Or
end game thoughts?
End game thoughts? Yeah, sorry. That was good. That was good. You totally kicked my ass on that one.
I nailed it.
Yeah, you got it. That's true. That's good.
No, I think that's about it. Just one quick, just kind of funny comparison. So
go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
wearing a Batman shirt here, and
Notice that.
I'm sure you guys remember Michelle Pfeiffer, who was in Ant-Man 2. And I'm sure you guys remember she also played Catwoman in the second Michael Keaton Batman movie, Batman Returns.
And Michael Keaton played a bad guy in the Spider-Man movie.
There you go. It all comes back,
It's a circle, baby.
I have to say though, I have a question for you. This might be a tricky one. I forget if I asked you this or not in the last episode. So, who is the only actor, at least that I know of, that wore a Batman suit and a Superman suit in 2 different movies?
Batman suit and a Superman suit in 2 different movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of a trick question.
I actually don't know the answer to that. So you know what we're going to do?
What?
We're going to throw it out there with the other question. Let's throw this as our main question for the evening for the people. Let's see if they know. See if the people that are subscribing and hitting the bell. And then what we'll do is we'll ask the question next time. Unless you really want to tell me now, which is fine. You can. You're like plotting to tell. So yeah, whatever you want to do is fine. But yeah, we can throw that question out to the people and see if they know. Because I'd be interested in knowing, because I do not know the answer to that. I'll try. I could obviously, people may look it up, but that's what I want them to do in the first place.
Yeah,
I want people to be able to look it up and see. But whatever you want to do is fine with me.
No, you know what? I won't say the answer now. I'm curious to see if either you or anyone else can figure this out. Like who?
Yeah.
If you can ask Alana or Deb, like see if they can figure out which actor. I guess that's the best way to word the question. Which actor wore a Superman costume and a Batman costume in opposite movies? So. I'm curious if you can say so, or if you can figure that one out. So
yeah, so that's our question for the evening. We have another question earlier that was just kind of attached to a movie about Black Panther's father. So we can answer that too.
Oh, that's
so we have 2 questions out there. If we can put those questions, I think we're going to put those questions in the comment area, in the description area. Maybe we'll put those in there so you can answer them. So that's what we got for this episode. I had fun. Just remember our sponsor is Assignment Organization. There will be a link. There'll be a link in the description for that. So please look for that. And Kyle had a great time as we have the last couple times. In the future episodes, we're going to be talking about lots of kinds of things here. We're going to maybe have some guests down the road. Kyle and I are talking about some different things on that. We're going to do some of our best sitcoms, our best movies, and we're also going to talk about, we could have a whole conversation about superhero vulnerability. So that might be a whole show that we talk about that, because that's just our examples, lots and lots of examples of superhero vulnerability, because they all have unbelievable.
A lot of movies
all humanized.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies
they're all humanized
from there, and comic books even released too.
Absolutely. So we'll bring up all the vulnerability from comic books to TV shows. Obviously, the Hulk was a TV show too.
Yep.
So we can bring that up, and that's what we have this week for Marvel at the Movies. I'm Doug. That's Kyle. Oh, you're over there. That's Kyle over there. We had a great time tonight. Kyle, thank you so much, and have a great rest of the week, guys, and we'll see you on our next episode.
See you guys.
You're right. I don't know what's happening. I don't want to go. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.